on.
I'd like to call the Stockbridge Bowl Stewardship Commission meeting to order for April 28th, 2023, as of 8:04 a.m. So the first item on our agenda is approval of the March 31st, 2023 minutes. Everybody get a chance to read those?
Yes.
Yes. Motion approved.
Oh, do we have a motion?
Yes.
Okay, Patrick moves, second. Michael?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All righty, and then continue the discussion on public awareness and education plans. So why don't we start with Sally again? And see
Yeah,
where they're at.
ours is complete. I thought Ron was gonna maybe get it and get it printed out, but I think he hasn't had a chance to do that yet, so I will have it for the next meeting.
Okay, all
But
right.
we'll have it for sure by, town meeting.
Okay, definitely we'll have it by then.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we'll have it for the,
So then why don't we schedule the next meeting now? And it seems to me that May 5th may be a little quick. That's the first, and we were doing first and third. Is everybody okay with meeting on May 12th?
May 12th, that Friday?
It's a Friday, yeah.
Okay.
May, what was that?
maybe
May
not.
what?
12th.
The 12th.
12th,
If we do the 12th, then we would do, then that would be the second and the
26th.
fourth weeks.
You want to do the 12th or just the 19th?
Well, the
There's just a lot of prep for town meeting and all that stuff, but it's okay.
well, we can hold off, but we're supposed to be doing 2 meetings in the month.
All right, it's up to you.
So, I mean, we could hold off until after, but then we'd have to do 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I can do the 12th.
Pardon me, you can do the 12th?
I can do the 12th.
I mean, we got a lot of, summer's coming. Let's do the 12th. All right, great.
All right. Okay, so we'll go with the 12th. All right, and John couldn't be here today. He had an appointment that he had to get to this morning. So, all righty, Sally, so you'll have something by the next meeting, by the 12th.
Yes.
Okay.
We're
And,
gonna meet on the 26th.
yeah, so it would be the 26th. would be the
Oh, so you're
second
giving
one.
2 meeting
Yep,
dates?
yep, why don't we schedule them both? That way we space them out. Back-to-back weeks is tough.
12 and May 26th.
Yep. All righty, and I don't know if we're gonna have a whole lot to talk about in this meeting, because
Well-
obviously everybody's
No.
busy.
Yeah. I took a walk on the Mary Flynn Trail. I've been walking on that with the dog.
Yeah.
Have you walked it lately?
Not lately, not
Well,
this year.
they have wonderful signs. The signage, whoever did that signage, were you involved in that?
Well, I mean, we ordered them when I was on the board, but yeah.
But the design and everything, I
It's
think,
key.
is somebody we should be talking to because it's really very well done. Very well done, whoever put that.
Do you want to put them in the bowl? What do you want to?
No, but I think there are areas where they're public domain, where people go to
Yeah.
around the bowl, that they weren't big signs, but they were, you read them.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so we may, if you want to, I took pictures of them, I'll send them to you. I was
Okay.
just looking for them,
Okay.
but I can't find them on my,
I mean, yeah, I think in terms of, because we've discussed this before on the board, is trying to be consistent with signage. And if you've got good signs on Mary Flynn Trail, then.
I thought very.
Ramp area, which again, is like, you
Well-
can't have 10 gazillion
Yeah.
signs because people then don't read them. But if they're well designed,
Yeah, these were smaller, sort of explaining or whatever it is, but they really would fit in certain areas. By the bowl, I think we should have one master sign. We shouldn't have 5. We should go there.
Exactly.
You should go there and look and consolidate them.
At the ramp.
At the ramp.
Yeah.
And it might be a much bigger sign than the ones that I'm talking about that might go in different places.
well, and you need a separate one though, just to mark out, like
Right, well-
to designate.
We've got a load of state signs up there.
Well, get rid of them.
We were
They're never there.
yesterday. You can't.
No, the state
They
is
own the
never there.
property.
They don't know.
Well,
Yeah, they do.
Especially the one that says no dogs, which pays no.
Yeah, that's-
pays any.
Right,
And
no,
as they should,
we were there
I
yesterday.
think.
We were there the other day and there's a couple of signs on the left-hand side of the ramp. You can't read them unless you have a magnifying glass. I mean, they're ridiculous. You saw them, didn't you?
Yeah.
Maybe we can check into that.
Yep.
I mean, that's something that we can check and say,
Yeah.
can we create these
Somebody in
signs?
Boston just designed a sign without, looking at it on a computer screen, not having any idea it's going to be up.
As long as you incorporate the same information.
Well, it's a
we
lot of
may
duplication.
Find that we could do that.
In my opinion, the state has no right to regulate that lake. They don't do
Well,
anything.
they do. That's the truth.
They make us pay for it. They have they take no responsibility whatsoever. They go out once or twice a year and dump some fish in and that's it.
No, I agree. It's people who you live in the town, you see this, what they do and they don't do. And unfortunately, you're right. When we had that gentleman came in for the tree,
Yeah.
and I said, can we get anybody else to come out here for other? And he goes, we don't talk to the other agencies. These agencies don't talk to each other,
I know, it's a little crazy.
Right.
So, yeah, signage is important. And what other strategic areas do we have? I mean, we've got the boat ramp, you've got the beach, obviously. We're dealing with the lake, so anywhere else on the
You
lake,
also-
that would be important.
You also have that second homeowners newsletter. I think, what's her name works on it or something. This lady, she contacted me about that she sends out. I can get.
Carol Owens?
No. Well, Carol Owens is a source,
Carol Owens is
of course.
one source.
And
Patty's newsletter.
Patty,
Patty
yeah. Kaya is another, just to make sure that it gets out to second homeowners.
Yep.
Don't just complain. Look at this,
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sure she'd be willing.
The title of,
Yeah.
yeah.
By the dam.
By the dam, we're signed, right.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Those small signs are really,
Dam.
have you seen them? Have you seen them on that trail?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's well
They've got
done.
a new set too.
It's really
They
good.
had some before and they've added some interpretive signs, which are nice.
I haven't
other
been
thing-
there in a while because people don't leash their dogs.
Yeah.
I can't go anywhere where they don't leash their dogs.
That's interesting, because I haven't seen that. I've been walking there and they've all been leashed. But you could be right when you go. I was going to say also, as a side thing, I had sent for the electrical thing and for the log, there's things I sent it to Michael.
That is, it turns out it's been down for like a year or two. It's on a cable line, I believe.
What? But
It's crazy. I know, it's
Line is
crazy
like-
getting them to come out.
Okay, no, I'm just wanting to make sure that it got through.
Yeah.
Where is this and what are we
On
talking?
that trail, there's a major wire.
Okay.
And there's a tree that's hanging on the wire and it's like the wire, it's like pulling on it.
Saying they haven't come out.
What is it?
I think it's on a cable line and getting Spectrum
Is it
to
a
come to the
cable?
middle of, it's basically like where cable or electrical crosses from back here over the river and it goes through the Mary Flynn Trail and there's been a tree down on it for a while. And, getting a crew out there is like, Michael's called, Teresa's called.
Okay.
We've tried to call
Yeah.
multiple times. Yeah.
Is there any way our tree warden could address it?
I don't know. I think it's
We have a tree
you're
warden.
not allowed to, if it involves electrical, there's strict rules about who
Well,
can,
it's not electrical.
I think,
Oh, that's a cable wire?
I don't know. That's what I
Well,
heard.
it's not electrical.
Yeah, but I'm not,
I didn't mean to go off the subject. I just thought.
I don't know.
But the
It's been reported.
It does have some voltage.
Yeah. It's just, yeah.
It doesn't have any good shows. It has voltage, but
You just pull it down.
any good shows.
Plus, if people lose cable for a few weeks, is it really that big? a
Probably be
deal?
good for them.
Then they'll fix it.
Right, then they'll fix it right away.
20 minutes.
Alrighty. Anywhere else that we can think besides the dam, the beach, the boat ramp, that would be important for signage? Around the lake.
Bullard Woods and Gould Meadow, you get a lot of traffic through
You
there.
have it, yeah, but you've got signage.
Pardon?
SBA has put signage though, haven't you?
But it might not be a bad idea that whatever sign we put in, if it's nice,
Yeah.
maybe do a duplicate of these things to add, and SBA would probably pay for their own signage or whatever cost.
Yeah.
That is to put in Bullard Woods if it's nice and SBA approves of it.
Maybe we can get SBA to pay for Gould Meadows signs
Oh,
too.
is Gold Meadows a town park? So
Yes.
that, right.
I think the SBA applied to CPC for signage money, though, didn't they? So.
Didn't approve it.
Oh, you
What's
did?
that?
Oh,
We
all
didn't
right.
approve
Oh, whatever.
Proof what?
signage.
Oh, that was.
I think if you're-
The trees and stuff, yeah.
If you're going to think about signage for that part of the town, I think it would be really great is to have, because there's overlapping properties and you got the Tango connector, it'd be great if it was like, here's a 1 mile loop, here's a 2 mile loop, here's a 3 mile loop, because there's so many trails in there. And it's easy to do a flat one or a hilly one, or, I think it'd be really great to like just do some little maps explaining people might
We're
go.
going to do a big map. We have a new cupola coming, and we're going to put a big map under, it'll be like 3 by
Yeah.
4 feet.
Right.
And it's going to be of Gould Meadows, the Tanglewood connector, and.
Oh, great,
Willard
yeah.
Woods.
But our signage is
But
based
then like the
on,
little, the color coded, so stay on red if you want 3 miles, stay on blue if you want.
yeah, but that's a whole different signage. I think our mission is a signage that's talking about the ecology
Of the lake.
of the lake. I mean, we're really not.
And that's an
I mean,
SBA thing.
yeah, we
that was
can incorporate
approved
that
A while back.
through SBA.
Oh, I see.
No.
But our thing should be fauna, flora, how to keep it, how to maintain the lake
Right.
properly along
Yeah.
the edges of the lake.
Right. Okay. Well, we're gonna-
Maintain your 35-foot buffer.
Yeah,
Well,
we can put a sign in the grass. Yeah.
leash your dog.
Pet peeve, yes, leash your dog.
Beth has a big issue with that. Yeah.
I could never walk my dogs in most of the places that people walk their dogs because one of my dogs was reactive. She'd been
That's-
attacked and she was afraid. And when I had all 3 of them, they became a pack, which became a danger. So I couldn't take them anywhere because people decide they don't need to obey the leash.
I see that mostly by the lake, dogs without leash. I hardly ever saw them.
I went by Gould Meadows yesterday and there was a dog happily running around.
That's what I'm saying.
No leash.
That's what I'm saying. That route, that dog route is where I see most dogs without leashes.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get a dog fight, you're gonna get somebody hurt. It's,
All right.
just because your dog is friendly doesn't mean mine is.
The thing that in a sign like that I think would fear most people is you don't want to lose your dog. In other words, most people are fearful that their dog may snip or something and you could potentially lose the love of your life. No, seriously. Patrick, what would you do without your dog?
Yeah.
You'd be a basket case like most of us. And I tell Adam, my son-in-law, I said, Adam, if you lose Otto, that's going to be a disaster. Otto is his dog.
In February, or March.
So I think that's the biggest preventer of how it's going to affect you. You don't want to lose your dog.
All right, so we got the leash law, which
Yeah.
we need to emphasize, but that's going
But
to be
that's not part
everywhere.
of
I don't-
it.
That should be
I
everywhere.
don't know that that's a separate.
Not gonna-
That's a separate thing, absolutely. I think-
But we're talking around the lake when we can see this is.
We did change it to control your dog. You and I did that.
What?
We did change the bylaw to control your dog.
Yes.
We did.
If we made up.
Maybe that was a mistake.
We made up some kind of a brochure, the handout that we could do at the boat ramp, I think that might go a long way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the same thing.
Where you're not supposed to have a dog in the first place.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm president of the
gotta have
kennel
a-
club.
Pro
I
dog.
have dogs. I love dogs, but dogs are my life. I judge dogs. I run dogs. I do everything with my dogs. And I can tell you 100% that everybody who is a really responsible dog owner will tell you, leash your dog. And the 3 words that scare the bejesus out of everybody are, my dog is friendly.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying if you tell them that they could potentially lose their dog, that's what would scare
Well,
me.
and that's exactly why responsible people keep their dogs protected, either on a leash or like in my case, I have like a perimeter fence. So I don't walk my dogs on a leash once in a blue moon. But bottom line is, that's for their protection.
Exactly.
I mean,
And the protection of the people around you, because there's nothing like getting in the middle of a dog fight.
Yeah.
oh God, yeah.
I mean, if you have little kids, whatever, somebody's going to get hurt.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
Yeah,
I
but
remember this.
think-
Remember this,
yeah.
Barbara?
Another thing.
they're really nice signs.
They are nice signs. How do we do the updates?
So,
Another thing we should consider, again, Pat, I see Pat isn't here. But the SBA has direct access to the lake communities, Lake Drive, Beechwood and all. And I think that a couple of people should put together a presentation, a little dog and pony show for maybe 10 minutes that can be presented at annual meetings.
Right.
And I think
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
This
we've
is gonna
already talked
get-
about
this is
I
get to
think
the-
the
this will-
PowerPoint.
Yeah, but I think he's talking about us representing, going to a meeting.
Yeah.
And so once
Yes.
you're meeting and one of us
Exactly.
talking to them
Somebody go and do a
physically.
presentation.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be a PowerPoint.
because there's,
Can't be.
Yeah.
because there's two-way
I don't know
presentation.
what their.
They're outdoors.
Yeah.
But we could also,
Yeah.
It
put it
could be
in.
hybrid.
Big signs.
Because you're gonna have to prepare something, so you
Yeah.
might as well put it in a PowerPoint.
Oh, yeah,
That
yeah.
way, then it can be posted elsewhere.
Yeah.
But you
They
can
can,
have that, you
and
can
the
have handouts.
associations all have websites, they can post them there, and they do get read.
Yeah, exactly.
It really does, because when we're raising money for the restoration project, I went to so many of these meetings to raise money. And people listen. They really do when you're talking, give them 10 minutes face to face.
So if we put together a lake association presentation and we go out and we do this, what should be the key points that we're making? And obviously, I think all the conservation, the buffer zone. So, I mean, give me some bullet points and I'll start putting something together.
Well, buffer zone, that's huge
Yeah.
to me.
Fertilization.
For no fertilization, no chemicals, no,
Yeah.
Tree cutting, cleaning out, like you're talking about
Yeah.
buffer zones.
if you're gonna look out for invasive species, plant native.
Right. Do not feed the weeds.
Do not feed the weeds.
The use of particular soaps.
You can't make too many of these things. The thing is, it's a 10-minute.
I think that's pretty much gone by the wayside.
Think so?
I do.
Oh, because of the septic tanks.
Well, because I think that most of the soaps don't have phosphorus in them anymore. I think.
Yeah.
So if you look at the laundry soaps, they don't so much
Okay.
anymore, which,
Okay.
is arguably why they don't work as well, but.
Do we want to mention something about the trees that are being diseased? The hemlocks and,
Yeah, and it's interesting. David Cameron made a full-throated point on don't necessarily encourage folks to remove dead and dying trees because there's so much habitat that they provide for the owls and all the other stuff. And so, I think I think if you're going to go there, we should talk to David, through the Concom and maybe try to nuance it a little bit rather than sort of encourage people to just take them all out.
that's
We don't know that they're gonna, that the adelgid is gonna kill all those trees. We think that it's certainly gonna have an impact, but
Ashes are mostly dead.
I have trees
Yeah.
here that are covered and trees here that have nothing.
Yeah.
I have some dead ashes. I have other ashes that are doing fine. So we don't really know whether there's some
Yeah.
mutation that will,
and
or something else will come along. I mean, I look at the buckthorn and we have invasives up to our eyeballs. And I look at the buckthorn and it's being choked out by the bittersweet. I mean, there are all these dead buckthorns in our little woods there they have these vines of bittersweet that's big around.
I had that too.
Yeah.
And I had an area cleaned out.
Yeah.
And I got all that bittersweet out and I took out some buckthorn and now some of the.
Buckthorn is
bittersweet
back. Oh, the big bittersweet. Yeah.
Can I make
hard.
a recommendation on this? I think we really got to keep it simple in terms of like our
Right.
4 top things. And then you can put anything you want in the pamphlet that you give them, but their level of attention is really going to be 10 minutes or giving us 10 minutes at a meeting.
dredging, harvesting.
Well, no, I mean, the things that we want to do of what the homeowners should watch out for, the keys that are going to help.
All right, so we got buffer zone. we
Yeah.
got chemicals.
Whatever
we
you
got
think,
Tree cutting, I don't know how you want to handle it. My concern about that is certainly you want people taking down trees that are hazardous, that are a safety.
We're in the process of developing a form for people to remove trees that are near a resource area. And it asks questions about what the tree is doing. And one of the things that David said was, you should make distinction between the trees that are hazardous, that are, are going to fall on your house or your kids or whatever, and those that are in the woods that are just dead. And the ones that are in the woods that are just dead, that aren't going to, if they fall, isn't going to hurt anything, those should be maintained as habitat trees.
Good.
Yeah.
So just because it's a dead tree doesn't mean you should necessarily cut it down. You should evaluate, where it's located and what the potential for.
And that's part of the tree
Disaster
warden's
is, yeah.
responsibility. People can call the tree warden and he can come and do an assessment. And if it's on their property.
should be in
Not
there.
Private property.
But if it's on town property.
Not on private property, right?
So you have to get your own, removing a tree is really expensive. So keeping the tree for a habitat is a win-win. You don't have to pay to have it removed, and
I have lots of that. on my
critters love
property.
it.
Yeah, especially the woodpeckers.
And red ants, yeah.
All right, but.
Which the woodpeckers like.
Cutting to some degree, and then utilization of native plants. Right? So there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 bullet points.
Those are
there.
4 most important that you feel are the ones that are most important for all those people living around the lake and in the association. Do you feel, you have to make a decision now. You may think about it, but
Well, I think we can combine the way we do in conservation, the chemicals and fertilizers into one sentence. So
Yeah.
that doesn't have to be 2 bullet
Yeah.
points. That can be 1.
yeah.
Right.
And yes, the buffer zone is critical.
But we almost have to explain what that means because a lot of people may not understand really what that means. I'm not sure I even understand what
Well, it's
that
a
means.
no-cut zone, supposedly, 35 feet from the.
Yeah, that's a hard one for people. I understand. I'm just saying.
Just say, it's a bylaw.
Yeah.
It's a town bylaw. So, whether they like it or not, it's still a town bylaw. And I understand that there are some properties that they're so tiny, the no-cut zone would be on your front door.
Yeah.
So we've discussed trying, and it's not ours, it's planning board. We've discussed a percentage, depending on the size of your lot, of how much of your frontage should be. But there should be at least, like 10 feet at the very least. And it keeps the geese away. And
And I think
Holds the bank.
this is one of those great opportunities also to include the fact that when you're in doubt, contact the Conservation Commission.
right.
This is the time to be able to make the Conservation Commission be this great resource and a friendly resource that you can go to get some good advice. What should I do or not do?
Yeah.
And make the point about the geese. I think that's a big one.
And best not come after you've done it.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. But I think that's one of those golden opportunities,
Yeah.
when you're actually face to face. So, the other question is who's going to do these presentations? So,
I'll help out.
Well, I could do one at Lake Drive, that's for sure.
I think maybe all the various members, I think Sally.
Yeah,
would
don't
be-
look at me.
Oh, come on. You'd be really good at it because you've got all those taglines.
Let's talk to Pat, have her set, we'll have Pat set this up.
And
Yeah,
also, Michael and, last year Michael and I went to most of the lake communities, and regardless of who does it this year, they were hugely, well, mostly, I wouldn't say usually, they were often positive and folks had tons of questions. Michael fielded most of the questions that were administrative. And so just kind of coordinating if we're going to do this, I think it would be great to have, a kind of town presentation, if you will, where people could ask questions about municipal issues, about the lake issues, about, kind of whatever. Because I think that was pretty
Second
good.
homeowners meeting, that would be it.
We went to every one,
Yeah.
every single one last year. We went to Beechwood, Lake Drive, all of them.
Last year, there was a lot of controversy in those meetings. Were they mostly
Well, I think-
concerned about that whole?
There was 1 or 2 questions on RTE from
Yeah.
Beechwood,
that's what
and
it's for.
that dominated the conversation on Mackinac
Right.
Heights, but it did not dominate Beechwood or White Pines.
Okay.
Or Lake Drive. I think that most people, it was being there to answer questions,
Yeah.
not to make a presentation, political or otherwise. And I think that was the part that was.
No, but I agree with you. Whenever I make, everybody's listening. Everybody will listen.
well,
Everybody's.
my one concern about combining this with administrative questions is specifically for that reason. You don't want it to get sidetracked away.
Right.
You want the focus to be, this is the Stockbridge Bowl Stewardship Commission. These are the things we're concerned about environmentally, and these are the things that you need to be aware of. And keep it on that topic. If administration wants to go out and do their own thing, I think that's fine.
There's only one meeting for each association is my point. They do one annual meeting and when we're showing up, we can,
Right, but there's
Yeah.
also the annual second homeowners meeting that select board does.
Yeah.
That's the time, I think, that, and they come and that's very, very well attended. That's the time that you deal with the administrative, the political, the.
Boats,
Boats?
boats.
What about?
yeah,
boats?
because, just White Pines alone, we had 100 people and the second homeowner meeting gets 40 or 50. I mean, it's the scale, just saying.
Or others?
Boats.
I mean, not just zebra mussels, but
Contaminated boats.
contaminated boats.
Yeah.
You mean for zebra mussel issues?
Yeah, because you got people that are bringing in their boats and who knows where they've been.
Right.
And it might be zebra mussels, but it
Right.
could be any number of.
Right.
Lots of other things.
So people aren't bringing them, in, but yeah, okay.
So they need to be aware of
Right.
what the procedure is before they can put their boat in the water.
How long, when did we start that thing?
10 years now, 10 or 12 years.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Amazing.
When they
This is
come into town with their boat, they can go get it washed and then they can take it to their house and they're all set.
Right.
But they need to be aware that they need to do that if they've been in them.
The good thing is the carry-out boats, the paddles, the kayaks, once they're on top of a car and they go 50 miles, they're dry.
Yeah.
And let's remember that the problem that they had at Laurel Lake was due to bilge water that had been in a Lake Michigan, I think it was, that brought the mussels in. The guy literally dumped thousands of gallons of water and it was a repeated thing. He was like going back and forth
Really?
and he was, that was, there was a, I don't think kayaks are, what we're talking about
usually.
here.
If it hasn't happened by now, that's what I'm saying, 12 years later with kayak, the biggest issue is motorboats.
Right.
That carry boat. And those are usually, I would say 90% to 100%. The only place you can put in a motorboat really, unless you have like an electric motor, which really doesn't, is at the ramp.
Right.
Otherwise it's really hard. But the kayaks and everything, like Gary says, they get dried out. The minute it's dry, they can't live. They, 24 hours, they're like,
Right.
or whatever the amount of time is.
Between the sun and the wind,
Yeah.
they're in good shape. It's the.
But if you're bringing your motorboat, I mean, people do have access to the lake from their homes with their.
Well, not just that, we see people, you dropping boats in, kayaks in from the causeway.
Kayaks, yes. that's-
Beach at night. I mean, you tell people they're not supposed to, but, our lifeguard who's on duty can't be a police officer, he or she is just basically saying, you're not supposed to do that. And people often are like, sorry, whatever.
Number one guy,
Not really.
I've never.
right?
They can't physically do it.
Yeah. I've never seen that.
It's the bigger boats that we're mostly concerned
yeah.
with, but we're not leaving anything to chance. So everybody gets inspected.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's interesting because I know when I've gone to the Adirondacks and taken my kayak, it's up there. You're basically expected where we were going. You were told you have to wash it before you put it in the lake. They don't care how many miles you've traveled. It's just do it as a precaution. And it's not a big deal.
And the irony is you should almost wash it after you come out of a lake. Unless, if the lake has any.
Anytime when you're changing bodies of water, you should be doing this.
Yeah, no, I meant as you come out, they should have an after wash. Because that's when you want to get them off, if the lake has zebra mussels.
Right.
Putting them in is, right, if it has it, it has it. But these lakes have no zebra mussels. Probably
wash them when they come out.
Wash it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is, well, then you're fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All righty.
Well,
So,
thank you.
okay, so that's in terms of doing the presentation now. What else have we got that we think we should pursue? The boat ramp brochure. What do we include on a boat ramp brochure?
Anything and everything.
You have a different audience for the boat ramp.
Yeah.
When you've got people coming in. And the thing that the study that they did from the zebra mussel folks said that most of the boats that go in the boat ramp are from Lennox.
51%.
Yeah.
So,
And of that, let me just say one thing, of that, probably 35% or 40%, because it
Miraval, Canyon Ranch.
was from maybe 3 sources.
Yeah. Miraval, Canyon Ranch, and what's the other one up there? It's
Oh, and what's his name? The retailer.
Shop right down.
oh yeah, Arcadian
Arcadian
Shop.
Shop.
Yeah, yeah.
Arcadian,
Good guys.
yeah, you have 4 basic, and of course, Kripalu.
But they have their own beach. They don't do it as much. They
don't
use
go
it as
anywhere
much.
else.
They have their own beach.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying, oh, well, Kripalu is Stockbridge. I heard that. I'm talking about the 3 main things, right, are from them. They have to be notified.
Yeah.
And they probably do,
We get them to upgrade the boat ramp. Can we ask them
Yeah.
for some money while we're at it?
Well, let me put it this way. That was one of the issues.
I know someone here on pilot.
I went CPC money for that. It's really a strange. I think it's got to be done through the select to select.
Select board.
Yeah.
For what?
Select board, not CP, right. I failed twice. It
Oh, ask
was,
them
that's
for-
your Stockbridge
Yeah.
bowl. We have nothing,
Based on.
And
They use it.
They wanted us
They
to
assist.
fund their housing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that it's really, that's the problem with not having a major government, because the towns have become so like Italian hill towns. It's just about my town. And as you saw, 50 some odd % of the time it's out of town users from
That's
Lennox.
starting to shift because
Yeah,
there's
I hope
more
so.
and more need for shared services
Yeah.
in various regards, so.
And Stockbridge Bowl is a major shared service. You got to look at it.
Exactly.
Major, the high school, everything, they, crew,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Patrick?
As an aside, I had a conversation yesterday with the CEO of Kripalu, and both the boat ramp and pilot came up. So we should talk offline about that.
Okay.
They used to kick in for the porta potties. They all those
The
three.
town pays for it now.
They do now, but when,
State property, I'm sorry.
this is when we were doing it. Gary used to get Kripalu,
Every-
can't remember if.
Everybody chipped in a little. We all,
Canyon Ranch did, and
Did we have-
the Arcadian Shop did.
And we never put in that like newfangled porta potty that we.
No, we never did. First of all, it was ridiculously expensive. It was
Yeah.
$60,000 for one. But then it was going to cost as much to do,
Was it gold plated or something or?
yeah. It was going to cost as much to keep it maintained as it was to put the porta potties out.
Wow.
Yeah.
And was it temporary or is it?
No, we're looking at composting one. We funded through CPC a few years back.
So we went through this whole thing to do composting toilets, and then
What does that mean? Like what's composting toilets?
it means that it's a no flush.
In other words, it doesn't need to be.
But it's not,
Doesn't need
it's
to be
not,
taken
it's not
away.
a porta potty. It doesn't need to be taken away.
Right.
Right.
Or empty, well, it needs to be emptied periodically, and they felt that we'd have to have a lot of units in order to.
And was it the
I'd have-
pumpkin tulip bulbs that were the expensive part or?
It was, I forget, it was a while ago now that we decided it wasn't going to work. But it was going to cost, I think, more to maintain the composting toilets than it was to.
It's the problem with a lot of like green technologies is for regular folks are so expensive. It's like, it's like, how do you fund it's such a great idea and yet it's so much more money than just,
It's something the state should do.
you think,
Every
yeah.
every body of water that it maintains. They should provide, and now they are, but they should provide toilets. I mean, you look at all the construction sites now instead of having in the woods.
From the state, but it's handicapped. It's the big one. It's from the state.
Yeah, but, they should provide that service.
All right, well, what else would we have to specifically talk about in a boat ramp brochure that would be specific to the boat ramp? So we're talking about the zebra mouth, the wash
We
station.
want to go over the routine when you bring your boat in, fill out the form, date it, sign it, leave it in your windshield. And if your boat needs washing, we have set down some parameters if you've been in any infected or suspicious waters, or if it's dirty.
Okay.
I really,
Do you have that in writing anywhere right now?
Yeah.
Can you send that, email that to me?
Yep.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
The other thing we
You
might,
want to be more specific and less specific. In other words, if you've been to Laurel Lake or any lake outside of the state, in other words, because people don't know, some people don't know if they've been in infected waters.
Housatonic.
What? Or the Housatonic has it?
Yep.
If you've been in
okay.
any other
Anything
body of
below
water,
Laurel Lake.
period,
Yes.
doesn't matter whether it's infected or not.
I think
You
it should be-
don't necessarily know.
yeah, but only
Yeah.
what, 60 out of 6,000
Yeah,
boats
that's
got
what I'm
washed
saying.
last year, is that what you're saying?
Something like
It's gotta
that.
be
Yeah, but most of them are.
more
most of them
encompassing of it. You've
anywhere else
been outside of the ball, you got to have it washed.
It's like me going to the Adirondacks. It's
Yeah.
like if you just tell everyone they have to wash
Yeah.
their boat.
Yeah.
Then you don't have the issue of maybe one slips through.
We don't have the manpower to wash every boat, and it would back up to Lennox if we did.
Oh, okay,
It's not realistic.
Yeah.
okay.
They only did like
What
60.
volume do you get, like in a day? And how many can you handle?
There's 100 times more visitors than boat washes. It's about
Yeah.
60 boat washes a year, and there's 10,000, 15,000 visitors.
6,000.
6,000. Yeah.
Most of the boats are returned. And the fishermen are very good, by the way.
Well, I'm not talking about every boat. I'm talking about any boat that's been on some other body of
Then we
water.
insist that it be washed.
Right, okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying every boat.
And we give it,
If
and
you know your boat has only been in
I don't have-
Stockbridge Bowl and.
Yeah, of course, right.
It's
You're
fine.
fine.
And
But
that's
if you're
the-
coming from any other body of water, then that should be a requirement.
especially Lake George, the Hudson River, the Finger Lakes, down in Connecticut too, there's some lakes that have,
Laurel Lake.
yeah, Laurel Lake.
That's what I'm saying.
And anything south of Laurel Lake on the Housatonic River is an automatic wash.
Or behind the composting toilet, it's all, Anyways,
Okay.
All right, so if.
One last thing on
we have
that.
Routine, but if I get that routine, then we'll have something.
I'll send you a
directly
copy of
in.
of what we have from the state.
Okay,
and one last thing I would suggest is if it's just two or three things, anybody under 60, no, under 40, they don't like paper, and they take their phone, they'll put up those little QR codes, and you can read this stuff, and we should just do a quick QR code. We got a new website that's about to launch, and people should be able to put the QR code up and get the 3 points on their phone. Because kids like the phones.
easy to do.
It is easy to do, I know, yeah,
so yeah, no problem of putting a QR
You
code
have
on
no
something.
clue
yeah.
how to put that on.
You literally point your camera at the little square and
No clue.
the text will come up on your screen, yeah.
Although, I don't know, I consider that to be awfully sad if you have English printing in front of you that you can't just read it. You have to use a device.
Well, I'm just saying a brochure versus yeah. the
Well,
link.
we could just put it on and whether they use it or
Oh,
not.
put it
Yeah.
on, I mean, because it's nothing.
Yeah.
Makes us look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, really.
You might want to put something on the town website having to do with boat washing and some of the rules around the lake. And we can post that around the lake, just an email address.
Just get it to Teresa, she's actually literally finalizing the website right now, the new one.
Yeah. So boat wash on town website.
But it should direct you right to where to find it. It shouldn't just direct you to the town because
No, it's got to
you'll
be
get crazy.
specific, yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
do a long link.
Yeah.
A deep link, whatever.
yeah.
But I mean, we're gonna be able to obviously change this,
Yeah.
the new website design. I mean, it's gonna be a dynamic thing.
Yeah, easy update, just text her.
We'll constantly be changing it or adding things or subtracting things.
Is there anybody on, other than us? Is there anybody on the?
No one else. No,
Okay,
it's only us.
only us.
It's only us.
I wonder it
Nice
feels
and
so
private.
light. It's nice.
Okay, well, besides the routine for the washing at the boat ramp, for a brochure, I think another big one would be the leash law.
See, I don't know if that
Doesn't, you're not allowed to bring dogs, and they have to be,
You're not supposed to bring your dog at all to the
Right.
boat
I
ramp.
mean,
There's,
but-
it's just,
It says dogs have to be on a leash.
oh, does it say that now?
it does say that.
It used to say no dogs.
No swimming and no fishing, but they do that anyway.
Yeah, there's anything that's already signage out there.
Yes.
Should be included in the brochure.
Do not excavate the roots, I don't know.
Or we could put the lake rules too in this brochure.
What?
The lake rules, no wakes between no jet skis,
Okay,
counterclockwise, things like that.
okay. Can
You
you
should
send
give
that
that
to
to
me
the
too?
camp.
I'll get a copy.
Wonderful, thank
And
you.
send that to the camp.
This is
They
a
know.
crazy idea.
They don't know about it. I'll tell you why.
They just don't follow.
If we get 6,000 visitors a year there, okay, so last night part of the, we had a meeting on the boat ramp at the board last night, and $125,000, and that may be an underestimate of what it's going to take to fix that bank, stabilize the bank, save those trees, keep a tree from falling on the harvester or some poor kayaker, building a pad, building the dock, doing the kayaks. If it's $150,000, let's do like one of those development signs that say, donate to this. Maybe we get the SBA or someone to help us collect donations.
Fundraiser, but that
Yeah.
problem at the boat ramp goes much farther than things you just enumerated.
Yeah,
Because the entire thing, the drainage needs to be reevaluated.
I know, that was unlisted.
Talking that entire area needs to be engineered so
Yeah.
that the runoff is not coming down into the lake, it's going off to the sides. Now, in terms of the bank, I know that Faber was at that meeting with DCR, and that one hole that we have, that eroded hole, he talked about how he could fix that very
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah, I know.
And that's something that I don't know why we can't just go ahead and do.
Yeah, well,
He
we.
needs permission.
We're gonna put,
that.
we got 25,000 as a match from DCR, from the public access folks, Doug Cameron. And we're gonna put in 25,000 if the town meeting votes for it, which is just gonna be for engineering to figure out the drainage, the bank stabilization issues, and how to engineer the pad and the new dock. And so, but that still leaves like $75,000, and it'd be nice if we have 6,000 people coming, if they could just donate $25 or $50 using their phone to kind of the effort. Cause I think there was legitimately some concern that, it's state property. Why is the town kind of picking up the tab,
I don't think they understand. Most people don't even know this.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe we need a display sign that's like, new improvements coming, help us fund,
I think the camp has been pretty good.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying, the camp, in terms of we're talking about the rules of,
Right, no, I think they've been pretty good.
They're not bad.
Camp?
I have had to go because every time it's new counselors going on
Yeah.
those boats.
Yeah.
So they were very good. Once you told them,
If you talk to Kevin, he will make sure, if we want, we can,
Or Jamie.
yeah.
it wasn't a contentious thing. It was
No,
just
I
sort of
know.
like,
I know.
when I was out there
Just-
and they would just be going and I'm on my boat, and I'd go and I'd say, listen, you got to just keep it in a circle. And they were fine. It's just
Now
that they have to be reminded. That's
Now
all.
would be the time of year to email Kevin.
Yeah.
And say, here are the things can you please,
Right.
when you're
Right.
indoctrinating your new counselors this year, can you please tell them that these are the
Yeah.
rules of the lake?
Well, Gary, is harbor master, do you do that now?
Yeah.
Okay.
We talk to them.
Yeah.
Those guys are great. If somebody gets stranded out there, those guys are on their boats going and saving them because we've had boats kind of, fail, the engines fail and those guys in 10 minutes are out getting them and, bring them back. And, I think that.
I can't tell you how many rescues my husband has done on the lake.
Yeah.
Turtled their sailboats. Who knows what.
And I understand the harvester. Oh, I don't mean to change the subject.
No, I was going to say, is there anything else we need to discuss? So-
Okay.
But it
I got
should
a
be
call from
about-
you.
It should be about public awareness and education, because that's what's on our agenda.
I don't know anything about public awareness or education.
Okay.
I only have no from
So do we want to, you're
Make
worried
people
about
aware that
harvesting.
the harvesters is going to Lake June 1st. Is that it?
Well, I don't know. I'm meeting Hugh with Stu Yarman, who lives on the bowl.
Right.
And he's a dentist, and he's going to also help do
Right.
the harvester. And we're going to meet. So I'm not sure what date or the condition. They're waiting for fuel, I think, this bio fuel from
And it's going to be you, Stu, and Hugh?
you, Stu, and you. Right. I don't know. I can tell you next time when I meet, because I'm going to meet with you and he's going to tell me what his.
No more
plan is.
coffee for him. That's it. He's done.
Shut off.
Yeah, so, Hugh let you know when.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just letting you know the update, giving you an update.
Usually
Yeah.
Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Any other updates we need to share here?
Just general updates? Are we onto that now or are we still on the public awareness?
General SBSC updates.
All right, yeah, there's a couple. As you said, so both harvesters are ready, but we're only going to put one on this year and have one as a backup in case, because they're both old. In case one fails, we'll literally be able to put the other one in. And we are shooting to get back to the target date of harvesting June 1st. I think that the vegetation may be a little bit ahead of schedule this year. We always used to get them on June 1st and then it kind of got delayed the last few years. But because the water is so much warmer right now than it normally is, we're expecting kind of some vegetation to come out. So there's that. We did endorse the SBA proposal on harvesting, as you probably saw. We thanked Pat and Elizabeth Goodman for their work on that. There's 8 new kayak racks at the beach. I don't know if they opened up the lottery or whatever it is for who gets those yet?
Yeah,
They have.
they may all be taken at this point. They go fast.
I know, but we have 4 times as many this year. I just wanted to let people know.
There's
I know,
a
it's okay.
box in the
Yeah.
copy room. There's a box in the copy
Okay,
room.
good.
Yeah.
Good.
Let's go.
And let's see, the other thing is, we did get named as this Justice 40 community, bizarrely.
What?
So the Biden administration has created this grant program for underserved, marginalized, underserved, and overburdened communities. And the only town west of Holyoke in entire Massachusetts, Western Massachusetts, that was named a Justice 40 community is Stockbridge. And I don't even want to make a joke about it. It's great. But there's like 300 federal grant programs available to Justice 40 communities. And I was just on the energy website this morning for some solar for the Waldorf School. And there's like 300. I mean, there's dozens and dozens of just the energy department. And that's only one little part of it. There's EPA grants. There's all sorts of things. So we don't even know yet how we're going to tackle this, but we're literally the only community in Western Mass town. Pittsfield has a little part and North Adams has a little part, but the entire town of Stockbridge qualifies somehow as a Justice 40 community. I think it's age related.
And how does that affect us? What's
40% of the grant money that they want to make available from the federal government goes to Justice 40 communities. That's right from the executive order.
Yeah, but bottom line, how does that translate?
We have to figure out what we want to apply for and get on it, because we'll probably have a window just to 2030 when the next census happens, when we, look, obviously.
Apply for anything
Do
like
you know what the
homes and.
deadline is? I mean, for grants that are available?
Like I said, it's more like he's directed every federal department to prioritize communities that qualify as Justice 40, and we did.
Okay.
So it's not one thing. It is basically it's unbelievably broad.
Broad's
Yeah.
definition does not include some kind of a
I
deadline.
mean, no, there's no way single deadline. Every grant has a different deadline. So it's basically doing the work to kind of say, okay, this might be a fit for us. But it's specifically, they in the primary paragraph, they mention water and sewer projects, for example.
Oh, wonderful.
I know, exactly. I know. It's like, I mean, bike paths, crosswalks. The whole idea is to make communities have access to stuff. So it could be like interpretive signage. I mean, and it's not like we just get one chance to put a grant in. Every one of these could be a separate grant to a separate thing. But it's really overwhelming. I mean, you go to this Justice
Did we
Board
apply
website.
for this?
What?
Did we apply or they just,
No, they just chose us.
no, really?
I have no idea. I have no idea. We are the one we're the one Western Massachusetts town that is marginalized, underserved, and overburdened.
But I think
We
it's
are.
probably because
It's age.
the fact that we have 40 some odd % under a certain income level.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
because we have an older population.
It's older population and
But I mean,
I remember census is only,
Is the dollars.
yeah, the census is only the full-time, kind of people who,
Right.
are primarily here and that median income is lower. And so you take that, you add the age and we got chosen. So I don't know how, but it's awesome. So,
The docks that are over there that we put in last year, do you want me to leave them or take them away?
the
Or
docks and the beach? Yeah, we should take them away. Yeah.
We had mentioned, when I went to the beach,
Yeah,
and I had mentioned it to you, but you brought up a good, do they want to take, it does make it easier for people to use the kayaks or with the docks there.
You're not supposed to, oh, you mean for the ones that are stored there?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's really, Parks and Rec is elected, so.
right. They
and I don't-
want the two.
Who's running this year? I forget.
Joanne.
I'm kidding.
Joanne, I know.
Kidding me.
Joanne, I'm trying to remember.
Coffee, remember?
My name.
Yeah.
And I remembered her name.
Look, that's totally up to the Parks and Rec commissioners. So if they want to leave them, leave them. If they want.
Well, the
I
point,
thought their plan was to have it there, though. Did that
well,
change?
that changed at the meeting. They said that they wanted them out. They're still there, so maybe we should,
I'll get them out this week.
well, you may want,
Is it, these the CPC?
No, these are those docks that they brought in for the SBA 75th anniversary so that people could do the boat rides. But I think, look, I was at I mean, people like Michael, thank you, by the way, I'm being totally serious, have offered to give Heaton Court residents, maybe at scheduled times during the year, we have a boat day where people can go in the pontoon boat. This is a good council on aging idea too. And so that could be a reason to leave them in, is if you're going to do a little bit more cross-departmental stuff between parks and council on aging and the SBA. So I think you could make a case for it, but maybe take them out in a week or two after you guys have a chance to reach out.
why don't,
We'll keep them in Bullard Woods. We can throw them on the trail and bring them over.
Okay, all right, good.
yeah, that's not a hassle?
No.
Because I was going to call Steve and ask him
Yeah.
to just, if we could put them to the side just until after election or whatever, then we can decide what we want to
Between
do.
you and me, there's 2 sections of dock inside their boathouse.
Yeah.
And down at
Oh, yeah.
The ones I made about 15 years ago.
And they're still usable.
They're sitting in there. Yep, they're 4x8.
Yeah,
All right, you got anything else, Patrick?
no, that's it.
Okay, Michael, you're all set?
All right.
All set.
We're all set up on the boat ramp. We have all but 4 slots covered, and I'm going to cover those.
Right,
So
you said
we're
you
all-
and Moose, the last,
We're all set.
yeah, okay. And Sally? No? Okay. I have nothing from Sportsman's Club, so I move to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you again.
All right.
Thank you.